Okay, so like you were saying, the procedures that cut off the blood supply, those also inhibit future options.
Yes, it's not recommended to try to get pregnant later with that because of the fact that you've got blood supply to part of your uterus, essentially.
Yeah, that's cut off.
Blocked off.
Okay.
Yes.
With the removal of them, there's two ways to remove them, you're saying? Either going vaginally or...
Well, depending on where the fibroids are located. If there happen to be any fibroids that are protruding on the inside lining of the uterus, those are easier to remove going vaginally. So we call that a hysteroscopy. We put a camera in through the uterus vaginally, and then we shave down the fibroid that's pushing in on the lining of the uterus so that the lining of your uterus is nice and even. That way, if you did get pregnant, the baby can, the fetus can, the embryo can implant on the lining. There's nothing really like disrupting the lining of the uterus. Yeah. If the fibroids happen to be on the outside of the uterus, so either pedunculated, like the ones you've had, or subserosal, meaning they're right under the lining of the uterus, or even if they're in the muscle layer of the uterus, but we can access it from abdominally. Yeah. Then yes, we usually will go through the belly. Yeah. So if you were to go through the belly, does that mean like if I ever wanted kids, or does it mean I have to have a C-section? If your fibroids were all just pedunculated, no, you don't. But yes, if there's any that are on any part of the muscle of the uterus, and depending on the size of them, then yes, we can recommend that you have a C-section for delivery. Okay. Because we would have carved into the uterine musculature a little bit, and so that area of the uterus would be a little weaker, so we don't want you to labor because that area could open up. Yeah. Could rupture. Okay. And then the last thing I think I was trying to recall was if I take the medicine that shrinks them, number one, it's only approved if I'm shrinking them to have surgery. Well, every now and then we've gotten it approved without having a date for surgery, but I'd say 90% of the time when I get it declined, it's because we don't have a date for surgery. But those can cause, like I said, premenopausal symptoms. Night flash, hot flashes, night sweat. Yes. Hot flashes, night sweats, forgetfulness. Lose my memory? Well, not permanently. Not permanently, for the duration of the time that you're taking it. And how long would one have to take that? We usually recommend 1 or 2 shots for it, and we recommend we recommend the 3-month shots. So it's, you either do it for 3 months or for 6. It's, depending on the timeline that we have, or how big the fibroids are and how small we're trying to get them to. Okay. Before surgery. And is there any other side effects outside of those premenopausal things, or nothing? Okay. For that short duration of time, nothing else really. If you're on any kind of medication that suppresses your estrogen levels for a prolonged period of time, that can decrease your bone density. But this is a very short period of time. It's 3 to 6 months, and it's not enough to adequately do that. And because you're young, usually once you get off of it, whatever minor decrease has happened regenerates. So those would be the only side effects. And I know last year I shared with you, like, I would love to try to find some natural ways of shrinking these. Were you successful ever seeing anything? I haven't found anything that I can concretely and solidly recommend. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. I reached out to a friend who's a naturopath, and she had some links, but I looked at them and I was like, these are not definitive. So I couldn't really stand by those. Yeah. And so I guess my concern, so I told you before, I have a history of fibroids. My mom had them. Now my sister has just found out she has them. And so my mother... 90% of African-American women. Which is wild. Yeah. I mean, they didn't know any reasons why 80-90%. It's just genetics. Ta-da. Here we go. And so I guess my concern with having any surgery, I've never had surgery before. Never broken a bone, never had surgery for anything other than teeth things. Yeah. And so my mother she ended up having fibroids removed, and it was supposed to be less invasive, and she would get hemorrhaging so bad they had to go ahead and give her a transfusion. No, she had to have a hysterectomy. Okay. And so for that increased onset of menopause things, like my mother was just really healthy until all this. And so I think my concern is that even with less invasive surgeries, with any surgery, there's always a risk of filling the blank. Surgery. Right. And so that's kind of where my head is at, having never had a surgery on anything. I mean, I think that's very reasonable, especially if somebody close to you went through that experience. So that's very reasonable. I would say depending on the size of the fibroids, then we could make a good determination on risk versus benefits.
Yeah.
You know, if the symptoms that you're having right now, like you said, you're able to tolerate the cycles better with taking the fibro defense that you're taking. If the cramping is not that bad for you with them, and we don't see these fibroids as causing any, you know, issues, you know, pushing in your bladder, you're not, you know, having issues using a bathroom, anything like that, then we may be able to just continue with that. Okay. If they seem like they've grown significantly from the last time we checked them, it might be worth it to consider removing them. Okay. All right, cool beans. Thank you. You're welcome.